everyone, and welcome back to the One Stop Co-op Shop. This is Colin, and today we are going to do a second play of Endangered. Our first playthrough was actually done by Jason. He did the tiger scenario. He does a phenomenal job. He does a little RPGing of his characters. It's really great. I'm going to be doing the other scenario that comes in the base game, the sea otters. And then if you guys would like to see more, I'm also thinking of doing the pandas as well, because this game, you guys, is really sitting well with me right now. I really enjoy it. I love how the game works, and I'm excited to show it to you. The goal of the game is quite simple. We're trying to convince 4 of these 6 ambassadors up here to help us save, and we're doing sea otters, the sea otters here. If we can do that by round 8 or round 9, we win the game. We lose the game if there's only 1 or 0 sea otters on the board. If ever all of the oil spill tiles are out on the board and we need to place another one and we can't. And then finally, if we get less than 4 of those ambassadors to say yes to helping the sea otters by the end of round 9, we lose. Let's go ahead and do a quick setup, because the setup for the sea otters is different than it is for the tigers, and then we'll jump into our playthrough. The first thing you'll want to do is grab your sea otter scenario card and let's open it up. You can see here we're going to use the shore side of the board. We're adding 8 sea otters to the board, and you can see how they're set up. They are already set up from before. We've got 6 going straight up and down, and then 2 over here. We have 7 remaining in supply, and then we have 22 pollution tiles. That's considered oil in this specific scenario. So we have 22 oil tiles. If ever we can't place one, we lose the game. You can see here for sea otters, there's no special rules like there was for tigers. Well, you'll just see how that works during the playthrough. We do, however, have a different rule for destruction. So during the destruction phase, we're going to roll a die, and that's going to determine which row receives a pollution tile. If there's no sea otter in that row, then we're going to move up and down until we reach one where there is a sea otter, and then we're going to place the pollution tile furthest from the shore itself. So it's actually all going to come from farther out in sea and then come towards the shore. Totally makes sense. If ever you place one of those in a space that has a sea otter, all of the sea otters in that space are lost. And like I said, if we get down to 1 or 0 sea otters, we lose the game. We are going to play on the normal level, so each player gets to start with $1 million. So I am playing a 2-player game. That's what you do if you're playing solo. So we'll each get $1 million. Now let's set up our 2 players. Our first one is a TV wildlife host. Who knows what his name is? If I was Jason, I'd have a great name for him. I'm not Jason, sorry guys. I did choose the TV host ability called Reshoot the Scene. He had 2 abilities that he could choose from. This is the one that he's choosing. This one says, after rolling your action dice, you may discard a card from your hand to change all your action dice to any values that you want. You're going to see why that's valuable as we play. Also, he starts by playing for free the fundraising card. So I have that here. That fundraising card just says each player gains $1 million. So, and you can see here it's a once. That means it's a one-time effect, and then we're going to discard it. So we'll discard that card, and now each of our characters has $2 million. Cool. Now we have our deck of cards. I'll give it a quick shuffle up, and we're going to draw 2 cards based upon, that's just how you set up your character. So our first one is Recycle. You can pay $1 million, then draw a card and play 1 card. And this is an action card, which will go out on the board, and anyone can activate it with their dice. Our second card that we have is Go to Work. That's a great one. Just gain $2 million. Our second character will be our lobbyist. We also start with $2 million thanks to our TV wildlife host giving us that extra $1 Thanks for that. She chose Turn on the Charm. Each time you use an action to give influence, you may discard 1 card from your hand to give 1 extra influence to the same ambassador. So we need to influence these ambassadors. She's even better at doing it if she discards a card. She's going to have out on the board signed petition. I'll show you that in a second. That's going to be an action space that we can place our dice during the game, and it could be either one of us. What we're going to do now is draw 2 cards. We've got Climate Change Summit. Add 2 influence to the ambassador that has the least or the most influence. Well, that's kind of cool. And we have Protest. Remove 1 influence, then remove 2 destruction tiles that are adjacent to each other. Oh, that could be super helpful in this scenario. Here we have our signed petition card. Now you can see we can slot our dice onto here, and then we can use the ability. Add 1 influence to 1 ambassador. That's how A, we're going to be able to win the game, but B, we also right now don't even know what our ambassadors need. So the first time we place that influence on one of them, we'll flip the card over, we'll find out what they're looking for, and we can start trying to complete those goals. So it's nice that we have this on the get-go. We have the same basic 4 actions that we had on the Tiger side. Don't forget that social media campaign is an unlimited action. You can do it multiple times. There's no limit. You gain $1 million or draw a card when you go there. And with that, I think we are ready to start the game. So when you're playing with 2 players, you'll actually take your turns back and forth consecutively. After each of us have taken 1 turn, this will move down to the next year. At year 8 and year 9, we'll then do the check to see if we have 4 ambassadors that would say yes, they will help us. If we have 4 ambassadors that say yes, that we've helped us, and we haven't lost from other different ways that I've talked about before, we win the game. What's interesting about this game is that at the end of a year, you don't take your dice back. Instead, you're only going to take your dice back when your turn comes up. So with the wildlife host going first, we'll place his dice out, and then they're going to stay out there to block spaces for our lobbyist. If our lobbyist wants to go into the same spaces that the wildlife host goes to, she has to place a die that's a value 2 or more than the die value he's placed. And then that will be the same for the wildlife host because the lobbyist dice will stay on the board even when we move to the next year. Here we have our turn order card. Let's start at phase 1. We're going to reclaim, so if we had any of our dice out on the board, we'd reclaim it now and roll our dice. 1 at a time, place them on actions and resolve them. Now, that must be the highest value die, and none of your own dice might already be there, so you can't place dice in places you've already gone that specific turn. Let's go ahead and give our dice a roll. We've got a 2, 6, and a 1. Okay, I love the 2 and the 1. The 6, wherever we place that, our lobbyist is not going to be able to go there. Now, I could discard a card to change those values to anything that I want. I don't think I need to do that yet. I really like the cards in my hand. I want to get them out as actions, so I'm going to leave it as is. The first action we're going to take is this sign petition action. I'm going to place my 1 value die here because that means our lobbyist will only need to have a 3, 4, 5, or 6 to be able to go there during her turn as well. Hopefully, that means she'll be able to do that as well. So I'm going to grab one of these influence tokens and I'm going to place it on one of the ambassadors. There's a total of 6 ambassadors, and you're never going to be able to get all 6 to say yes. So we have no idea. Let's go ahead and just pick this one. And what do we have? Canada. In order for us to influence Canada to help us with the Sea Otters, we have to look at the player cards that are in play, so any of the action cards, like the signed petition card, that would be 1 card, plus the amount of influence we have here. If that equals 14 or more, we can say, hey, Canada, come with us. And they'll say, yes, we will definitely help you, you Minnesotans, because that's where I'm from. So, yeah, that makes sense that Canada would want to help us. Right now, though, looking at 14, we have 1 action card out and 1 influence. That means we're at 2. We only need 12 more. Yeah, that's going to be a hard push, but I think it's doable. Our second action we're going to take is move 1 animal. I'm going to place this 2 die here. That means that our lobbyist would need a 4, 5, or 6 to be able to do this. This is important because I need my sea otters to be able to make more of them. In order to have offspring, you need to have mating pairs. That means you need to have 2 in a space, or 4 in one space, or 6 in one space. And for each set of 2, you're going to have more chances of having offspring. In this game, moving can be orthogonal only. You can never move diagonal. Now, I could move, let's say, this one up to here. But what that means is that if I roll a 6 whenever I'm doing the destruction rolls, that means I'm going to have to place them in spot 5, which means it's more likely that this row is going to have casualties and we're going to have more oil here. So I want to keep as many otters in different rows as possible because remember, we're going to be rolling 2 of these at the end of each turn. So instead, I think I'm going to take one of these sea otters and have them become a mating pair here. Our third and final action, and I don't love doing this because it's going to totally block this from our lobbyist, but I'd like to play a card. This means we could play a card that's a continuous one, which will stay out and play, an action card where we can then use our dice to activate it, or a one-time effect card. The card we're going to play is Recycle. We're going to pay 1 million, then draw 1 card and play 1 card. Now, we don't get to do this. We have to put dice on here, but it now allows our lobbyist to be able to play a card even the next turn. I really think it's important to be able to play cards, especially because if we're trying to get Canada to be on our side, we need Right now, 13 cards out on the board. This is only our second one. We've now completed phase 1. Let's move to phase 2, the offspring phase. Mating pairs +1. Well, I have 1 mating pair, so that's a total of 2. I'm looking to roll a 2 or a 1. If I do, then we happen to get a new baby sea otter. I'm pretty terrible at rolling low, so we'll see how this works. Yeah, it's a 3, so a total failure. Next, we have our destruction phase. This is where we're going to roll 2 dice, and we're going to place out those oil tiles. And there's 22 of them in total. If we can't place one, we lose the game. We'll give our dice a roll, and we have a 6 and a 2. The oil starts creeping towards shore. Oh no, I love the art, you guys. Look at it. You can see the shore right here. And I love how this is different from the tiger scenario where the deforestation is kind of random. Here you always know it's coming from the left, going towards the right, but you don't know which row it's in. But it always has to be a row that has a sea otter. So be careful. If you push all of your sea otters into only a couple rows, all of a sudden you're going to be flooding those rows with oil. Next, we have our impact phase. What we're going to do is draw the top card of our impact deck and see what it is. And we have controlled burn. This is a persistent impact, so this is going to stay out until either we get rid of it or the scenario itself gets rid of it. It says at the start of each player's turn, they may discard 2 cards from their hand to remove 1 pollution tile. That's actually a nice card. A lot of them in the Otter deck are actually nice. You'll see in the tiger scenario, most of them are not nice. I will take that. Finally, we have the upkeep phase where we'll draw 1 card. So our wildlife host will also get protest. That means we both have protests. That looks like a great card to discard. And then if it was year end, it's not. So we'll just simply move to the lobbyist's turn. She'll go ahead and roll her 3 dice. Let's see what she gets. She rolls a 1, 1, and a 5. I just want to show you because if you're playing this with other people, this can be super helpful to help keep track. You're going to use these little tokens that denote your specific character. When they are activating, you'll place them on here. And once everyone has done that, because if you play with more than 2 players, the order, you don't have to go in a specific order. You get to choose that. And then once everyone's there, you'll move down. Everyone will take these back, and then you'll continue going. Well, this might seem a little bit odd, but I have a plan. I'm going to have our lobbyist start over here with the social media. She's going to gain 1 million or draw a card. I think she's going to gain $1 million. That's going to give her her third $1 million. She's rich. The reason she did that is because she's going to use recycle. Now, it's going to cost her $1 million to do this. Pay that $1 million, then draw 1 card and play 1 card. So let's go ahead and draw the top card of her deck, and she has Advocate. This says, choose 2 ambassadors that have no influence and add 1 influence to each. Whoa, that is actually pretty awesome. Now, I could just play this card, but that's a one-time effect and it's discarded. I had a different plan. I'm going to play this Climate Change Summit. Now, you can see up here, this says you must pay $2 million to put this card into play. Also, notice how it's yellow up here? That means this is a specific card only the lobbyist has, which is why I really want her to be able to play it. Versus Recycle, we each have recycled cards in our deck. Each character has 4 unique cards and 10 basic cards that are the same as all the other characters. This one, we can now add 2 influence to the ambassador that has the least or the most influence. But I do have to pay that remaining $2 million, so I am now 100% poor. I have no money, but I have this out, and that's now our 3rd card out on the table. My 3rd and final action, I'm going to go ahead and do the relocate. Now, we can do this because it's a value 2 or higher than the wildlife's host's die. So we have move 1 animal, 1 space. Let's see if we can get another mating pair. We certainly can. And now we have a chance of a 3, 2, or a 1 when doing the offspring roll to see if we can gain a new otter. And speaking of such, we're going to move to that phase. Looking for a 3, a 2, or a 1. How about a 4? So yeah, still no babies. Then we'll move right to destruction. We're rolling 2 dice for this. We've got a 4 and a 2. 4 isn't the end of the world, but 2, we're now 1 away from losing this sea otter. And we can't seem to get any new babies. So this is going to be interesting. Now it's that impact phase. Let's see what we get. We get instant impact. Each player may pay $1 million to remove 1 pollution tile for each player that paid. Oh yeah, definitely. Our wildlife host has been frugal with his money. He's got $2 million. He'll spend 1, so he can remove 1. Unfortunately, our lobbyist did a lot of great work last turn, but that means she has no money. As you can probably guess, we're going to remove this tile, thank you very much, and then during the upkeep phase, we'll draw a card. We have fundraising. We've seen this because the wildlife host got to play his for free. That will end year 1. Let's move over to year 2. We'll take both of our player tokens, put them back. I'm going to immediately put the wildlife's one back on here. We're then going to pick up his dice. So he has these 3. He's not going to be able to move any otters this turn. Let's give our action dice a roll. Rolling up our dice, and we get a 1, 1, and a 4. Gosh, lots of low rolls. This is not bad. The first thing our wildlife host is going to do is plan and play a card. He wants the go to work card out. That just gains us 2 million every time we place a die here. Yeah, it's hard to say no to that. Then I think let's go to a climate change summit. We love these summits. If we go here, we can add 2 influence to the ambassador that has the least or the most influence. I'm going to choose the least. I have 5, which have nothing. I'm going to go ahead and pick this blue one all the way over here. Let's see. Oh, it's Japan. Total cards in hand plus influence equals 16. Holy moly. Okay. We'll have 2 influence on here. So that would be 14. We need 14 cards in hand. Right now we have 4. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. Finally, I think our wildlife host is going to go to work. He's going to go to work. He's going to put on his TV show, and people love it. They love seeing stuff about the sea otters. Heck, I love watching the sea otters in the water. And he raises $2 million. Awesome. He now has 3 million to play with. Let's move to that offspring phase. We need a 3 or a 2 or a 1. How about a 5? Still no babies. This is a very sterile environment, apparently. Then let's go ahead and roll the 2 dice for this destruction phase. Both 4s. That's pretty gosh darn brutal. 2 4s means we just lost one of our 2 mating pairs. They apparently didn't like each other very much anyways. They weren't having babies. It also cuts out we've got 2 separate areas now. Now if we roll a 4, we'll have to place it either in spot 3 or spot 5 because there are no sea otters in this row. Let's draw our impact card, and we have Oiled Animals Rescue. I'm telling you, so far we've seen all the positive ones. Move 1 animal that is adjacent to a pollution tile to any space. We have 3 otters that are adjacent to an oil spill. I think it's risky, but I'm going to do this one because that gives us 2 mating pairs. But now if we roll a 4 or a 5, yeah, because now we've got 2 empty rows. So I'm really hoping at some point I'll actually have babies. And when that happens, I haven't shown you this yet, but when you do have babies, you have to place them in an adjacent empty space. So I could place one here if they have babies, and I get to choose which one mates successfully, which is nice. Too bad that doesn't happen in the real world. But still, I'm hoping that I'll actually be able to do that this turn. We'll end our TV show host turn by drawing a card, Adopt an Animal. We really need this. Discard a card from your hand, then move up to 2 animals up to 2 spaces each. Oh, I was thinking of a different one. Still good for moving them around. I was thinking of one where we could actually get more animals on the board. Our lobbyist is next to go. We'll place her turn marker here. Now, don't forget, I haven't talked about it. We do have this controlled burn that we can do at the start of our turn by discarding 2 cards to get rid of a pollution tile. But because Japan wants us to have cards, our abilities are about discarding cards, I'm not really keen to discard cards, so I don't think I'm going to do that. I'm instead going to just pick up our 3 dice and give them a roll. Let's see what we get. We have a 6, a 3, and a 2. Seeing that oil take out some of the otters, yeah, first thing I'm going to do, go to the Climate Change Summit. We can add 2 influence to the ambassador that has the least or the most influence. We're definitely going to choose the least, and here's the thing. We have Turn on the Charm. Each time you use an action to give influence, you may discard 1 card from your hand to give 1 extra influence to the same ambassador. Yeah, this is going to hurt a little bit. I like fundraising. I like the money, but I'm going to discard that so that I can place 3 influence on one of these cards. We're going to pick the 3rd blue one. So now all 3 blue ones will be revealed. Let's see. We got Mexico. Total money. Great. Okay, we'll put 3 on there. So that means we need $9 million at the end of year 8 or year 9 to be able to satisfy Mexico. They are money hungry, apparently. How about we go to work? What do you guys say? We'll use our 6 here to gain 2 million. That's going to give us our first 2 million. Our wildlife host has 3 million, so we have a total of 5. That's actually, that 9 million is not out of reach. Of course, I say that, but I do think I'm going to recycle for my 3rd action. That means I'm going to pay $1 million. So I had 2 million, now I'm back down to 1. I'm going to be able to draw a card, and then I'll play a card. So we have Lobby. Oh, this is one that's specific to us. Move on one influence from any ambassador to any other up to 5 times. That's a beautiful one to have at the end of the game. I'm going to go ahead and hold on to that one. I am instead going to play this one-time effect, Advocate. This is awesome. Choose 2 ambassadors that have no influence. And add 1 to each of them. So this means I'm going to have all of the ambassadors except for 1 revealed. I'm going to go ahead and do the 2 green ones. That means the grayish one is the only one that's left. Let's go ahead and check this first one out. We have Germany. Okay, this one, we need to roll 2 dice. We take the greater die result. So let's say we roll a 3 and a 5. We take the 5. We add the influence that's on here. We need an 8 or more in order to get them to go with us and say yes. So he has 1 influence on him right now for Germany. And then our second green ambassador, we have Indonesia. This one we're going to roll 2 dice plus the influence. We need a total of 10. So we need a total of 9 because that will have 1 influence on it as well. Ooh, 2 dice roll ones. Just for a quick recap of all of our ambassadors, we have Japan here, we have 2. We have Mexico has a total of 3, which is amazing. Canada only has 1, Germany has 1, Indonesia has 1, and we still have 1 ambassador here that's unknown. We don't even know what they want. Time to roll some dice. Offspring, we need a 3 or less to have a baby. And we rolled a 4. We're never going to have babies. We're so going to die because we can never procreate. We have a 4 and a 1. We'll place the 1 right here. Now the 4, and I think I need to change how I'm rolling my dice. I've been rolling both of them at the same time. That works when it could be any of the 6 spots. But let's say I rolled a 4 and a 4 both times. Well, then I might want to manipulate it, but I wouldn't know if I hadn't rolled the second die. So going forward, I'll roll them individually. But for this time, I still think it was okay because the only one that we didn't know for sure was the number 4. The closest one that has sea otters is the row 3. So we'll place our oil there. And look, we got a lot of these on here. I haven't even dealt with any of those. The lobbyist is all about influence, and it's been great. We've been finding out what our ambassadors need. We're getting our influence on there, and we're neglecting the animals. Where's our zoologist? Oh, well. Totally second half of year 2 will be when we finally have offspring, right? We have a shark attack. Lose the animal furthest from the shore. Oh, no. Well, that's pretty terrible. If you look here, we're all the same distance away from the shore, so I think I'm going to lose this one. We only have 5 otters on the board, you guys. Oh, I mean, I feel like overall we're doing well, but we're not because we need more animals on the board. We'll draw a card. We have go to work. Totally useless for getting more otters on the board. We'll move to year 3. We'll just remove the lobbyist turn order card or token, and we'll pick up our TV Wildlife host dice. Now he could pay $2 million for that controlled burn, and that's somewhat appealing. And I think we're going to do it. Before we even roll our action dice, we're going to spend $2 million. We're going to get rid of this one. We'll give our 3 action dice a roll. We have a 6 and 2 4s. Ooh, that's a little high. Remember, I have my ability where I can discard I want a card in my hand to then change those dice to anything that I want. But I don't like discarding cards, especially when that's one of our goals for Japan. So I think I'm just going to suck it up. This climate change summit is pretty amazing. I think I'm going to spend my 6 die here, which will mean our lobbyist won't be able to do it her next turn. We're going to place 2 influence on the least influence of one of these ambassadors. Let's look at this one. This is China. They want animals in play plus influence, so it's going to have 2. So we need 8 animals in play. We have 5. Yeah, we need to have some babies before that's going to matter, but we at least have 2 influence on China. I think next we're going to plan. We're going to plan by playing a card, and we're going to play Protest. We can remove 1 influence, so we have to remove 1 of the influence on one of our ambassadors. I've got so much influence over there, I'm not worried. Then we can remove 2 destruction tiles that are adjacent to each other. This, of course, is an action spot, and that's exactly where we're going to go. We're going to go there. We're going to remove 1. I don't think we're going to keep the 16 cards in hand. So I'm going to use Japan for this. I'm going to remove 1 from Japan and say, hey, Japan, can you instead help us get rid of this oil? And they're going to be grumpy about it, probably not happy. But we're going to be able to remove 2 destruction tiles. Well, if you look here, we're very likely to get 2, 3, or 6, right? We're rolling 2 times, so I think it makes the most sense to remove both of these. All right, sea otters, get your groove going. It's offspring time, 1, 2, or 3. Oh, it's a 5. Still no babies. Okay, first destruction tile will be at number 1. We can't place that in the 1 row because there's no sea otters, so it's going to show up in spot 2. Let's roll a second time. And I'd just like to say, how come we couldn't roll that 1 when we're doing offspring? Okay, it's a 4. Well, you know those 2 tiles that we just removed? They're back. All right, now it's the impact phase. We'll flip our impact card and we have boom. Oh, this is an amazing card. Immediately roll 1 die and place 1 influence beside the matching row as a reminder. Pollution rolled for this row is not placed while this impact is active. So what this means is if, let's say I roll a 4, that means every time I roll a 4, we're not going to place any pollution there. However, if later on in the game, we have to place pollution and I roll a 3, but we don't have an animal in 3, we have a sea otter in row 4, it still will get placed in row 4. That's been confirmed on BGG. But let's roll a die and see what our protected row is. We get 2. 2 has now become a protected row. I definitely think I want to get our mating pair over there. That would be awesome. We're then going to end the turn by drawing a card, and we have the Wild World Season 2. Discard a card from your hand, then remove 2 destruction tiles that are adjacent to mating pairs. Ooh, that is cool. We'll now move to our lobbyist turn. We'll pick up our 3 dice, and we're ready to go. We're not going to pay the 2 million. We can't. I'd love to get rid of the destruction tiles, but we can't. Really, the biggest thing we need is more sea otters. Okay, a 3, 4, and a 1. First thing our lobbyist is going to do is clean up. She's going to use her 4 die. She's going to spend 1 million. Then she can remove a destruction tile that is not adjacent to an animal. Since we only have 2 mating pairs, yeah, let's remove this one. Next, I think we're going to go ahead and sign a petition. We're going to use a 1 for this. We're going to add 1 influence to an ambassador, but we're going to turn on that charm. And you know what? We're going to discard go to work because we already have go to work out. Who needs that? That means we're going to be able to place 2 influence on one of the ambassadors. One of the ambassadors I'm going for, I think, is Canada. So we're going to place 2 more on here. That means we have 3 influence. That means we only need 11 cards out on the board. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now. So we only need 6 more. That's still a lot, or some more influence. Our third and final action with our die of 3, we're going to go ahead and go to work. $2 million. We had 0. Now we're at 2. We're now moving to that baby phase. 3 or less. That is a 2. Our first baby. I can't believe how this feels. It's like when I had my first child. Now how this works, we get to choose which of the mating pairs mated. We're going to choose this one. We have to place this sea otter in an adjacent empty space. We're going to go ahead and place this one here. Now we could have placed it here or here, but I want another one in another row to spread out that oil as much as possible. Next is that destruction phase. We'll roll for a 3. We can place an oil tile there, so we'll roll again. A 5 for the second one. If only we could have rolled a 2, that would have been real nice, but we didn't. A 3 and a 5. Yeah, they're coming for our for one of our newborns. Let's now flip our impact card, and we have Summer. At the start of each player's turn, they may pay 4 million to discard an active persistent impact. I mean, that's super helpful. We haven't had one of the bad persistent cards show up, and there's a lot of them in this deck. So right now, not helpful because I like the persistent cards, but later on, that could be helpful. We'll end our turn by drawing a card, and we have go to work again. We just discarded that. We're going to go to work again, probably by discarding that. We're going to go to year 4. We're now almost halfway through. Starting with our wildlife host, he could spend 4 million, doesn't have it. He could spend 2 million, doesn't have it. Let's just roll our dice. Let's see what we get. We get a 6, a 5, and a 5. Whoa, that is high, high, high. I still think that's okay, and that is something that I will say, when you play with more players, the dice numbers matter a little bit more. Since we have so many actions, I can probably make this work. First thing we're going to do is use our 6 here to clean up. Pay 1 million, we're going to remove 1 destruction tile. Can't be adjacent to any of our sea otters, but I'm going to remove one of these two. I think let's do number 5 this time. We're still gunning to get Canadian support, so that means we need more cards on the board, so I'm going to plan. I'm going to put out that Wild World Season 2. This is another action card. That's a total of 6 out on the board. And then this might seem a little bit weird, but I am going to do the relocate and move 1 animal 1 space. If you look here, these sea otters here are both vulnerable. If I move 1 over here, we can start having babies here and move 1 to this spot. And also, if this does get filled up, we only lose 1 sea otter instead of 2. And they're in the protected row, the boom row. So I will totally take that. It's now baby time. 1, 2, or 3, we've got a baby. A 3, that's our second baby in a row. We have a couple options here. We have our 2 mating pairs. We could put one over here so that hopefully we could get these 2 together to make another mating pair. Same thing with over here, or we could try and spread out the roles. Man, this is actually kind of hard. I think I might do it this way. Maybe eventually I can get them together. But remember, with China, too, I need a total of 10 animals in play. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus 2 influence. That's 9. I actually only need 1 more animal or 1 more influence, and they will vote yes at year 8. Whew. All right, so I got to keep them alive. Keep them alive. Let's go ahead and roll for destruction. Our first one is a 2. You know what that means? Boom, negates that. Second roll. Oh, I thought it was going to be a 2 again. It's a 1. Don't you try and take my baby sea otter. They were just born. We'll now move to that impact phase, drawing an impact card. We have oil spill. This is what I was looking for. Not that I want this, but I'm amazed this is the first time we're seeing it. It's a persistent impact, so we now have 4 persistent impacts. Immediately discard any other oil spill cards that are already in play, so you can only ever have 1 of these in play. We're going to now roll 3 pollution tiles a turn instead of 2 while this is out. Yeah, I know. Ridiculous. What that means is we're going to have to get rid of destruction tiles like nobody's business. So we're going to end our wildlife host turn. He gets canvassing, pay 3 million, then add 3 influence to 1 ambassador. Yeah, that's a beautiful card. We definitely need that. Our lobbyist turn, the first thing she is going to do is she's going to spend the 2 million because we have our controlled burn, and we're going to burn off 1 of these tiles. Let's go ahead and burn off number 2 here. Let's give our dice a good roll. We've got a 6, 5, and a 4. Ooh, those are high. First thing we're going to do is jump onto that climate change summit. We're going to add 2 influence to the ambassador that has the least or most influence. We're going to choose the most, and we're going to use our ability to turn on that charm, discard go to work that was in our hand to actually place 3. 3, you guys. And you know where we're going to place the 3? On Mexico. Mexico and Canada both have 3 influence on them each. If we're going to do Mexico, we need a lot of influence. Because right now I have $0. So I would need a total of 12 influence for Mexico. I'm still thinking I want to go for it though. So I have 6 influence now in Mexico. Then I think let's do our protest here. We're going to use our 6 die, so that means our wildlife host will not be able to do this. We're going to spend 1 from Japan. We definitely do not have enough cards in our hand to get to 16. So he now has no influence. I keep calling them he, sorry. Japan no longer has any influence. We're not influencing Japan at all. We're instead utilizing that relationship to remove 2 destruction tiles. Now, I'd love to do 3 and 1, but they have to be adjacent to each other. So I think I'm going to do 3 and 2. Yeah, that's just, it'll be what it'll be. I know we're not going to roll 2, but at least we're keeping our total amount of oil spill tiles in supply, which is good, because if that runs out, we lose. And then I think we need money. We need money, 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 money. So we're going to go to work. That's going to gain us $2 million. We've had babies now 2 times in a row. Let's make it 3. No, dang it. Okay, now we're rolling for destruction. First roll is a 3. That'll be placed here. Oh boy, 2 more rolls. Second roll is a 2. That doesn't do anything. Third one, a 4. That initial oil spill totally took out a mating pair, remember that? But since then, we haven't put anyone in that row. We don't like row 4. So we either have to place it here in row 3 or here in row 5 because that's where the sea otters are. So we'll place 1 here. Let's then draw our impact card, and we have natural degradation. Remove 1 pollution tile? Yeah, you better believe we're removing the tile in row 3. Oh, that was wonderful. We'll finish up year 5 by drawing a card. We have donate. This is a continuous card. After any player rolls any dice, you may pay 2 million to add or subtract. That's another discard fodder because our wildlife host can just discard cards to get any new dice values that he wants. So we're never going to do that. We're going to move to year 5, you guys, now. 5. Oh my goodness. We will not pay any money because we don't have any money. So we can't do any of the control burn. We'll just pick up our 3 dice for our wildlife host and give it a roll. Let's see what we get. We have a 2, 3, and a 4. Our first action we'll take is plan. We're going to use our 4. We're going to drop canvassing down as another action card. Paying that 3 million, then you can add 3 influence to 1 ambassador. Then I think I'm going to play this 3 here simply to gain a million and immediately use that million to do the recycle. I need more cards out on the table. So we're going to draw 1 card and then play 1 card. So we have go to work, because why not? We've got jillions of those. So that does mean we're definitely going to play our other action card, adopt an animal. Discard a card from your hand and then move up to 2 animals up to 2 spaces each. Kind of a nice card. That's giving us 8 total action cards on the board. Remember, we're pushing for Canada here, which is 14. 8 plus the 3 influence on there is 11. So that means we only need 3 more cards on the table. And we actually can say, hey, Canada, will you say yes? And they will say, you betcha. It's baby making time, 3 or less. Yes! It's not a question. I know exactly where this sea otter's going. Right here. We should be able to then move one of these 2 spaces over to here because of that adopt an animal card we just put out, and we could get 3 mating pairs. That means China should be a little easier to get. So just so you know, the 4 ambassadors I am eyeing are 1, which is Mexico, of course, 2, Canada, 3, probably Germany. I need at least 3 more influence there, hoping I can do that, and then 4, China. Now to the destruction phase. We'll roll a 5 for the first one. We can place 1 there. A 5 for the second one. Okay, where's our third one? Our third one is a 1. You guys, I was getting too cocky. 2 5s means we just lost a sea otter, and we're 1 away from losing another sea otter. We'll now draw our impact card, and we have oil-eating bacteria. Remove 2 pollution tiles. I'm telling you, these are awesome. The 2 at the 1 level, remove those. So that's going to save or protect that other otter up there. Oh man, I'm telling you, these are so nice. Our wildlife host will go ahead and draw a card. He has commercial. Draw 3 cards and then discard 1 card from your hand. Whoa, it's a great way to get a bunch of cards in your hand. Our lobbyist will then go next. She's not going to spend any money. She's just going to pick up her 3 dice and give them a roll. She gets a 6, a 4, and a 3. To start off with, she's going to do our climate change summit. Add 2 influence to the ambassador with the most. We're going to do most again. We're going to discard this donate card. Who needs that? So that we can add 3 influence. You know what that influence is going to go to? Mexico, who already has 6. That's going to be 3 more for him. 9. That means we only need $3 million at the end of round 8 to have totally influenced Mexico. Gosh, this must have been some great summit. Our final 2 actions are not getting us more mating pairs, but it is going to help our influence. We're going to gain 2 million. That's going to give us a total of 4 million. Then we're going to spend 3 million to do some canvassing. So that means we'll only have $1 million left, but we get to place 3 influence, and what the heck not? Discard protests to make that 4 total influence on 1 ambassador. The one we'll choose for that is Germany. That means we have a total of 5 on here. We only need to roll on our higher die a 3 to be able to succeed for Germany and get them to say yes. That feels pretty good. We still only have 2 mating pairs, so we need to roll a 3 or less. Oh, yes. Let's have this mating pair have some babies. We'll put 1 over here. We'll roll 3 times for destruction. We've got a 2. That will be nothing because of the boom. Our second one will be a 1. We can do that. And our third one will be a 3. 1 and a 3, not terrible at all. For our impact card, we'll flip our next one. We have a new oil spill, so that's just going to replace the other one that's already out. We'll discard this one. That's so nice. Unlike the tigers, where persistent ones, you get multiples of the same one out, the oil spill specifically states you can only have 1. Thank goodness. Our lobbyist will draw a card, and she gets signed petition. She only has 2 cards in hand. Our wildlife host only has 2 cards in hand. Year 6. You know, I'm feeling really good, though. We'll pick up these 3 for our wildlife host. Let's have him go next. Let's see what our actions will be this time. We've got a 3, 4, and a 5. First thing I'm going to do is play a 5 here on the plan, and we're going to play 1 card. We're going to play our commercial. Draw 3 cards, then discard 1 card from your hand. So this is an action card. And with that action available to us, let's do it, because we only have 1 card in hand. So we're going to draw 3 cards, 1, 2, 3. And then we have our go to work card, which is the one that we're going to discard. We either have Wild World Season 1, discard a card from your hand to reveal the top 3 cards of the impact deck and return them in any order. We have our signed petition. Ooh, Each time any other player discards a card from their hand, you gain 1 million. Oh my gosh, we want that on the table. I'm definitely going to discard Go to Work. Our third action then will be Adopt an Animal. That means we'll discard this signed petition card, and then what we do is move up to 2 animals, 2 spaces each. This is going to allow us to get another mating pair. Let's go ahead and move this one 1, 2, and this one 1, 2, and now we have another mating pair. We have otters in every row except for 4 and 5. We're now right in the middle of year 6, feeling pretty good. We need a 4 or less, and we get a 4. Beautiful. That means we do have another baby. We're most definitely putting that baby over here next to this mating pair. Now it's destruction time. 3 rolls. A 6, that'll work for 1. Our second one is a 5. That won't work, so let's place that one out as well. That means we're placing 2 right here, and we still have to roll 1 more time. We might lose this mating pair. Don't do it to us. Don't do it to us. We've got a 2. A 2, our boom saves us. No more destruction. Let's draw our impact card. We get for our impact card, poachers. Lose 1 animal. Well, that's not great. I think I'm actually going to lose this one because my plan is to move my mating pair a little bit closer to the shore. Because look at this, if we roll a 5 or a 6, we're placing out oil spills over here. We've got to deal with that. That's going to be our lobbyist's turn, what she's going to be doing. Speaking of which, it's going to be her turn. We'll draw our card for the upkeep phase for our wildlife host. He has another signed petition. We do not have 2 million that we can use to discard pollution tiles, or 4 million to be, I can't even remember what the 4 million does. Oh yeah, discard an active impact. That'd be great. No, we don't have 4 million. So let's roll our dice. I've got some ideas though. Let's see if this will work. We've got a 6, 5, and a 2. Well, I don't know why I wouldn't do this climate change summit again. We're going to add 3 influence by discarding this card. We're adding 3 to Mexico. 3 more. That means he has a total, or Mexico has a total of 12 influence guaranteed to go with us, regardless of how much money we have, which is good because we only have 1 million bucks. But we're good there. We're then most definitely going to use relocate to move 1 animal 1 space. And we're going to go to this protest here. We're going to remove 1 influence on Indonesia. So Indonesia has no influence on it now, but now we're going to be able to remove 2 adjacent destruction tiles. We're going to put these 2 back together. So we have 3 mating pairs, and we're going to remove these 2 destruction tiles. That gives us a little more room over here. I'm still worried about this area. Everywhere else looks okay. All right, let's see if we have some babies. We need a 4 or less. Come on, 4 or less. 4 or less. That's a 2. Let's go ahead and have an otter over here, just protecting that area just a little bit more. We'll roll for destruction. We've got a 1. We can place 1 there. Our second one is a 4. We can't place 1 there, so let's look to see what we're going to do. The 1 we can place here. The 4 we have to place here. We have to roll 1 more time. And we get a 1. Actually not the end of the world, but we still have actually a fair amount here. I think we're doing okay on oil spill tiles. We just got to watch our otters. We'll draw from our impact deck, and we have oil slick. Immediately roll for 1 more pollution. Let's see what we get. We get a 3. Oh, come on. That's just mean. We protected them, and then all of a sudden that additional oil took out one of our sea otters. We have 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. China is just barely there at 10. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Yeah, let's start that next round. The biggest one we need to still think about is Canada. We need 14 minus the 3 influence. We need 11 cards out. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we need 2 more cards out. We're going to go to our wildlife host. He does not have any money to be able to get rid of any oil slicks. He'll just roll his 3 dice. And we'll move this down 1. I almost forgot. Our lobbyist should have been able to draw a card. She's got environmental activist. If at least 1 ambassador is currently a yes vote, yes, Mexico will do anything for us, then remove 1 destruction tile. Oh, that's kind of cool. Let's roll our dice. We've got a 2 3s and a 4. Now, this would have been awesome a long time ago, but it's still good to get out because it'll count as a continuous card in play. We're going to start by planning. Each time any other player discards a card from their hand, you gain 1 million. Now, this is a continuous card. It's not an action card. So this will just go out right by our wildlife host, and as long as I remember this, he can get some dough. This is a little risky, but I think I'm going to do it. we're going to adopt an animal. We're going to discard the Wild World Season 1 card here to be able to move 2 animals 2 spaces each. What this means is it allows us to get another mating pair. Now, it also means that we're likely going to lose one, but I'm hopefully going to have another offspring, and that will spread out our die rolls. Hopefully. Action 3, we're just going to go to work. We need money. We have no money. Our lobbyist has 1. We'll have 2 million bucks. We'll move to that offspring phase. A 5 or less now will get us a baby. That means we're basically having a baby. Yep, 3. And even though it's super risky, I think I'm going to place this one here just to spread out our die rolls for our oil spills. We're now rolling 3 times for that. First roll is a 6. Second roll is a 3. I believe both of those work. Let's do the last one. It's a 2. 2 won't do anything, so we just have a 6 and a 3. The 6 will go here. Now the 3 actually won't do anything. There's no sea otters in there. I can actually put this one here, which is exactly what I wanted. Oh yes, because that means we're likely not going to get another 2 of those, and I can move those over here. But look at how much oil, and I don't have a lot left. So yeah, I need to start clearing some of this off. We'll now draw our impact card, and we have Toxoplasma Gond 11. Oh, lose 2 animals adjacent to the shore, column 5. That is terrible. Our column 5 has a total of 5 sea otters, so I think I'm going to lose 1 here. And I think I'm going to lose 1 here. Oh, why I did it that way is because I should be able to get these 2 together to keep a 3rd mating pair. And this one, once again, will just keep the oil going over here. Oh, that's just brutal. Okay, next we'll go to the lobbyist. Of course, we need to still draw our card. This is our wildlife host's last card in his deck. He'll have to shuffle. He has Donate. We know that card. It's terrible, but we're hoping our lobbyist can discard some cards to get our wildlife host some more money. So let's pick up our 3 dice and give them a roll. We'll roll them up, and we've got a 1, 4, and a 5. The first thing our lobbyist is going to do is go to this Climate Change Summit. We can add 2 influence to the ambassador that has the least amount of influence this time. We're going to choose Indonesia. We're going to discard this lobby card. This kind of hurts because that's a great card, but that means we get to place 3 influence on Indonesia. That also means 1 million bucks is given to the wildlife host because of royalties. He's now got 3 million. I love it. We're then going to activate Recycle. Pay 1 million. That's all that we have. We're going to pay that $1 million. Is this a good idea? Draw a card and then play a card. So we're going to draw this one. That's Volunteer. Discard both this Volunteer card and 1 active Persistent Impact card. Whoa. Oh, do we want... I really want that one, but I really need to get a total of 14 for Canada. So I am going to play the Environmental Activist because this is our 10th card out on the table. I'm then going to do something that I'm not sure is a great idea, but I'm going to do the Protest. I'm going to use my 5 here. I'm going to remove 1 of the influence from Mexico. Yeah, that means I need to have 1 million at the end of the game. I think I can handle that. But that means I get to remove 2 destruction tiles that are adjacent to each other. I think I'm going to pick these 2 at the number 1 spot. Moving to that offspring phase, we need a 3 or lower to succeed here. We've got a 4. No babies. That really, really hurts. Okay, destruction. First one is a 6. That will work. We can take that. Second one is a 1. We can take that. Our third one is a 6. 2 6s and a 1. Now, we have to just get through 2 more turns. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 7 oil tiles left here. So technically, I don't have to remove any more of these and I can still win as long as I have 2 otters out at the end of the game. Yeah, look at how sparse they are. Our next impact card will be another oil spill. That's actually great. That's just going to replace the one that we already have. I haven't found a good way to get rid of these. Well, I just drew Volunteer, but I didn't play it. Oh, yeah, that's on me. Moving to year 8. Year 8 is our first voting year. First thing that's going to happen, first, our lobbyist needs to draw a card. She will draw Research. She'll put that into her hand of 2 whopping cards. Our wildlife host is going to spend 2 million to be able to take off 1 destruction tile. Perfect. And that was because of the controlled burn card. We'll roll up our dice. We've got a 2, 4, and a 2. The first thing our wildlife host is going to do is clean up. He's got 1 million left. He's going to use that 1 million. he can remove a destruction tile that's not adjacent to an animal. Great, we're going to do that. We'll also do the environmental activist. If at least one ambassador is currently at a yes, we can say that because the Canadians are actually at a yes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 total cards out. That includes our royalties. And he has 3 total influence. That's 14. Beautiful. So we can remove a destruction tile there. So that's 2 destruction tiles that we can remove. The final action then we'll do is adopt an animal. We'll discard this card and we can move 2 animals up to 2 spaces. We can remove 2 tiles. I think I'm going to remove 1 from here and 1 from here. I can move 2 otters. I think I'm just going to move 1 here up to 2 spaces. That way we have 3 mating pairs. All we have to do is finish this turn, do our lobbyist turn, and then hopefully we can get 4 yeses. We need a 4 or less for babies, and we get a 1. Let's place that baby right here. Then let's roll for destruction. We have a 5, then we have a 3. A 5 we can place here. A 3 we'll have to place over here. Oh boy, 1 more roll. Don't be bad, don't be bad, don't be bad. A 4. A 4 works great. We're right here. No issues for the otters. Let's draw our impact card. And we get, what does this say? Fisherman. Oh no, lose the 2 animals closest to the shore? Really? I take back everything nice I ever said about that impact deck. Okay, I've got 4 that I can lose. I have to lose 2 of them. Well, I might as well lose this one for sure. If I lose this one, I mean, it gives me more options, less options for babies. Remember, China, I need 10 total animals. I have 2 influence. That's 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's just no way that's happening unless I get more influence on it. And I have to protect all of them. Okay, maybe Indonesia is looking better and better. We'll draw our card for the end of the wildlife host turn. He has signed petition. He's got 2 signed petitions in his hand. We will place this out on year 8. We will pick these 3 up because we have no money. We need to make sure that we have at least 1 million, otherwise Mexico isn't for us. Let's give our action dice a roll. We've got 2 5s and a 4. I think you guys, we've been planning on working with China the whole time, but it's not happening anymore. Instead, we're going to use protest. We're going to take one of the China influence, remove it, and we're going to remove 2 destruction tiles. That's going to be these 2 right here. We're then going to activate sign petition. We're going to place 1 influence out, and we're going to place that onto Indonesia. We are going to discard research. So since we're discarding research, we get to gain $1 million for our wildlife host because of royalties, which is just what we need for Mexico, because we needed 1 additional $1 million. And then because both Canada and Mexico are all ready to rock, we can place this here to remove 1 destruction tile. And I'm going to remove that one from row 2, just in case we roll a 3 and we have to place 1 in row 2, we have a spot. Okay, we have all the money. We've got 5 influence on Germany. We only need a 3 for a higher die roll for that one to work. We've got 5 influence on Indonesia. We only need to roll 2 dice to get a total of 5 to make 10. I think there's a chance because we know we have Mexico and Canada set. We'll move to that offspring phase. We need a 3 or less for a baby. Oh, yes. That certainly helps. We'll place 1 right here. I'm feeling pretty good. Let's roll 3 times for destruction. First roll, we have a 3. And that's the whole reason why I cleared out that space. We have no otters in 3, so we had to place it in 2. Remember, the boom only works if we roll a 2 itself. Second roll, we have a 3 again. That does mean our beginning mating pair, gone. Good thing I wasn't trying to get China. We just lost 2 sea otters. Our third and final roll, we have a 1. A 1 is just fine. We'll place that right here. Let's draw our impact card. We have oil slick. Immediately roll for 1 more pollution. Okay, let's see what we get. We get a 4. A 4 means we'll place 1 right here. Then we'll end our turn by drawing a card. We have recycle. That's our last card in our deck. And now we go to voting. We'll start off with Mexico. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 total influence. We need 12. Do we have $1 million? We do. Thank you, royalties. Just $1 million. That's the only money we had. We spent money like it was candy. Player cards in play, actions and continuous, needs to be a total of 14 minus the 3 influence, so that's 11. We have 4, 8, 9, 10, plus the royalties, that's 11. Let's do Germany next. We're going to roll 2 dice, take the greater die result, add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to it. If it equals 8 or more, they're with us. So we'll roll 2. We've got 4 plus the 5. That's 9. So that's 3 out of the 4 ambassadors that we need. Now we have Indonesia. Indonesia, roll 2 dice, add the influence that's here. We need a 10 or higher. So we need a roll of 5 or higher. If we get 5 or higher, we've won the game. 5, 6, 7, 8. Beautiful. Ah, we saved the sea otters. Just barely. Well, there you have it. That was Endangered doing the otter scenario. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Our lobbyist and our wildlife host did a great job. Sort of. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you watch Jason's tiger scenario, now he did a couple things wrong in the playthrough, but he had a ton of tigers. He had so many, he didn't have hardly any left in the supply. Yeah, that was not R2. R2 were definitely more about influence. I don't know. We weren't doing as well as Jason, but we still had a ton of fun. I love that there's 2 scenarios in the base game. I do wish that there was more, but that's what the expansion is, and I am excited to try the pandas. Let me know if you'd like to see a panda scenario. I'm really thinking of doing it because, yeah, I love this game. I love the action selection. I love the dice rolling. I love that there's randomness here. There's randomness in the offspring. You don't know if animals are going to actually have babies or not. You can try as much as you can to get them in the right spaces. Doesn't mean they're actually going to. Totally realistic to me. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you at the next stop.